All right, well, I think we'll get started. Let me introduce Patrick Graham, Senior Principal Solutions Architect at Groupware Technology. Take it away, Patrick.
Thank you, Trish. Thanks everyone for joining us this afternoon. We will keep this brief on my part at least. Probably have about 10 slides, and then we'll jump into the main event. And then during the presentation, if you have any questions, you can put in your questions in the chat window. And then once we wrap up, we'll follow up with the questions and we'll try to address anything that came up. So to kick things off, my name is Patrick Graham. I'm a Senior Principal Solutions Architect at Groupware Technology. If you are not familiar with Groupware, we're based in Campbell, California. We have presence around the globe. And we're a IT solution provider since 1992. Groupware specializes in data center infrastructure, cloud computing solutions, rack integration services, and first call support. Our mission statement is we answer the call, and it's really our brand promise. And we kind of help our clients find solutions to the technology challenges. And one of the goals we like to leave our customers with, or one of our vision statements, is creating customers for life. So our goal at the end of the day is to be there for our customers' needs, the technology needs, and hopefully we are able to create customers for life that follow us in their journey with their company. So to kick things off, today we're going to be talking about Cohesity solution. So what I'll do is first, if you're not familiar with Cohesity, I'll give you a brief overview of Cohesity. And then during the presentation, I'm going to cover three main features that have been added to the platform recently. So we can cover those three features, but outside of those three features, there's probably about 20 to 30 different features and use cases that we design and implement for our customers. And we'll be happy to have that conversation with you if anything comes up. But goal today wasn't to kind of overwhelm you with 40 slides. So we'll keep it concise to the three feature sets that were just released, and we'll take it from there. So to talk about Cohesity and what is Cohesity. So Cohesity was founded by Mohit Arun. Mohit was at Google for about 5 years when Google was about 100 employees. So he was one of the early employees at Google, and he helped design and write the Google file system. So everything Google stores, if you want to think about Gmail, YouTube, any data they store is stored on Google file system. So Mohit took that same expertise that he learned at Google, and he was one of the founders of Nutanix. And after Nutanix, he founded Cohesity. And that kind of creates the backbone for the Cohesity platform. So it's one platform that spans across multiple nodes, multiple systems, multiple geographic locations, and it's software defined, so it can be deployed on Cohesity's hardware, can be deployed on certified hardware from Cisco, HP, and then as well, it can run on public cloud. So it can run on AWS, Azure, or GCP. And that creates what we call the Cohesity data platform. And that creates the basis of the backbone of the Cohesity solution. So once you have a scalable platform, now the next layer that comes on top of it is the management layer. So regardless of what is deployed either on-prem, on what type of hardware, or if it's in the public cloud, regardless of where it sits, it's all managed from one simple UI, HTML5 UI, as well as has Helios, which is a cloud-based management platform, as well as mobile app. Now, once you have a solid platform spread for data management and simple management, the next layer that layers on top of that is your apps. So not only the platform is scalable from the sense of data storage, but you also are able to deploy apps directly onto the platform and gain critical insight from your data, as well as run analytics jobs and also be able to get value from all the data that you keep. So if you look at where IDC and Gartner are saying there is exponential growth in unstructured data, so data being created by servers and systems and IoT devices. So platforms like Cohesity allow you to take those data sets, make it, put all your data into one scalable platform, and then drive value out of that data. So if we look at the platform and how it fits in our client's environment, so the Cohesity data platform can be deployed on-prem into client data centers. There's virtual editions, which can be deployed for smaller remote offices and branch offices, as well as there's native cloud capability. It can be deployed in public cloud, and you can stitch all these environments together. So you can replicate your data from your virtual environment to your Cohesity data platform running in your data center. And you can further take the same data and replicate it to the public cloud and archive it to the public cloud. The applications running on top of the data can run across all three different deployment scenarios. So you are not deploying something new and different for every deployment location. It's all managed, and usability is all done from the same platform. So that's a brief 2-slide overview of what the Cohesity platform is and what the platform does. And now I'll jump into 3 new features that were just released in the latest version of the Cohesity data platform, which is version 6.5. And the first one is Kubernetes data protection. So we're seeing more and more customers adopt container technology in Kubernetes in general. And this is leading to proliferation of data both on-prem as well as public cloud. One of the challenges we often hear from our customers as they go through application modernization and moving to microservices journey is how do I provide robust data protection for my microservices platform? So built in natively in Cohesity now is the ability to back up your Kubernetes namespaces and persistent volumes simply the same way you would be backing up a virtual machine running inside your environment. There's native integration built in from the platform, so there's no additional appliances to deploy or anything else to deploy externally from the Cohesity data platform. Fully integrated, built into the platform. You register your source target, your Kubernetes cluster, provide your credentials, your access keys. You'll be able to see from your GUI, from your management GUI inside Cohesity, all your namespaces. You select your namespaces, add it to a policy, and you're up and running. So looking at what this enables our customers to do. The workflow is very simple, right? You register your source, your Kubernetes source, you attach it to a policy. I want this namespace to be backed up every hour, and you want it to be aged out every 30 days. So now you have taken that backup of your Kubernetes namespace and it's sitting onto your Cohesity data platform. But this is where the platform and the policies built into the platform allow you to create jobs where you can take that backup, restore it to a new namespace, restore it to the same Kubernetes cluster as a different namespace. You're able to take that from your on-prem Kubernetes deployment and restore it to the public cloud. So it gives you true not only data protection, but as well as mobility for your Kubernetes platform. So you can quickly take an application that, for example, is running on-prem today, a Kubernetes cluster and namespace running on-prem today, run jobs to back it up. From the same data backup jobs, you can create a policy or on demand, go and restore it and spin it up in public cloud, and now run workloads against it in the public cloud. All of this is accomplished from the same platform, so no need to go and deploy something separate just to address Kubernetes workloads and challenges. The next feature I want to talk about is called CloudSpin. So CloudSpin provides the capability to copy virtual machines from any Cohesity cluster in your environment and spin it up on demand or based on policies as a native cloud VM running inside AWS or Azure. So if you're taking backups of your VMs today, and one of the challenges and use cases we see with clients where CloudSpin fits and works really well, is clients are backing up VMs in their on-premises data center, and there's two needs. First is disaster recovery. Being able to take that VM and in the case of a disaster, spin up their virtual machine as native AMI instances, for example, inside of AWS. So built into the cluster is the intelligence to go ahead and take that VM, convert it into native cloud platform, and spin it up into AWS. There's no need to run any separate appliance inside of AWS to accomplish this. This is all natively done from the platform running on-prem. The other very interesting use case with the CloudSpin technology is policy-based or on-demand-based spin-up of VMs from on-prem to public cloud. So to give you an example, if you have an environment running on-prem and it's a development and UAT testing environment, and you have a release pushed out and now you're ready to test your workload, again, for user acceptance testing or load testing, you can very quickly and very easily take the VM that's running on-prem, do a CloudSpin job, spin it up in AWS, and now utilize the on-demand instances inside of AWS to spin up more instances and do a load testing against your application. And when it's all said and done, you can go through the policy and just break down what you just built up, delete all the VMs you spun up, and you're up and running once again. So it's a very easy, very simple on-demand approach where you can go and do user testing without having to have something running inside of the public cloud 100% of the time. We have clients that are using this feature to help drive down their cloud costs as well, because now you're able to spin these resources based on demand into public cloud. And once your use case is done, you can tear it all down and you're back to running onto your environment on-prem. So that was the second feature with CloudSpin. And let's talk about the third feature with Cohesity SmartFiles. So as I mentioned earlier, we're seeing a huge growth with unstructured data. IDC and Gartner, they're reporting the amount of growth in unstructured data exponential. And what we're seeing with clients doing more and more is trying to get better use of all the data that's being generated and drive some business value out of this data. So enterprise applications, if you see what is on the screen right now, this is pretty representative of enterprise environment. So enterprise applications generate a ton of file and log data that's traditionally stored on a NAS platform via NFS or SMB. And then newer applications, they have a preference for object storage. So we also see clients that deploy object gateways just so they can expose S3 interface to their applications. In order to get value out of this data, clients will deploy applications, analytics, and data management applications that sometimes requires its own data storage platform. So usually we see clients that will go into their NAS systems and tier off the data into a tier 2, tier 3 system where they will run workloads like Splunk or run analytics workloads to get some value out of the data. So this one of the major pain points this leads to is having siloed approaches to data management. So now you just looking at this infrastructure, right? You have your NAS environment, your object gateway, and your tier 2, tier 3 data. In many instances, this could be the same copy of the data, so 2 or 3 copies of the data being kept in 2 or 3 different places based on how the application wants to consume it. So let's see, take this example, let's see how we can use Cohesity's SmartFile solution to solve this problem. So the first step is the Cohesity data platform itself. The Cohesity data platform is a scalable multi-protocol file system and has native object storage built in. It's a fully S3 compliant object storage built onto the same platform. So right out the gate, we've consolidated all your NAS services into same platform that is scalable, scale out and scale as you grow, but also it's multi-protocol. You're able to do S3, SMB, NFS all from the same platform. Additionally, since this is just not a dumb NAS solution, right? This has more horsepower built in. You're able to drive further consolidation now. So all the applications that we talked about earlier with its own dedicated hardware, dedicated VMs, and maybe dedicated storage, we can very quickly collapse those down and run those natively on the Cohesity data platform itself. So the Cohesity data platform has its own CPU cores and memory, right? So you're, instead of having all these VMs that are running in your environment and taking up more compute resources, you are further able to drive value from the Cohesity data platform investment and run those workloads directly onto the system itself. So instead of taking your data to your applications, now you are bringing your applications to your data and running them natively from the platform. All of this is managed from the same simple UI, and you're able to push down the applications directly into the Cohesity platform. These applications, some of these are marketplace applications that are free to use. Some of these are bring your own license, and some are self-developed and provided through Cohesity. So all of these are follow any marketplace system as you are expected. For example, AWS Marketplace, or even the Apple iTunes Store, right? So applications are being added all the time. I just heard about a new one that got added, Model 9 got added today. So applications are constantly being added and growing. And this is has open APIs for you to even write your own applications to now gain insights and value from all the data you're storing anyway. Additionally, since we talked about it, this is all object storage on the back end, gives you further flexibility. Now you can take these workloads running on the Cohesity data platform. You can tier the object data off to public cloud. You can tier it to AWS S3, for example, and now you can start consuming further applications that are available in the public marketplace inside of AWS, for example, natively. So you can run on-demand analytics jobs inside of AWS. Your data is already sitting there, replicated from your on-prem Cohesity appliance, and you don't have a need to go ahead and deploy something completely separate and different just to accomplish your data mobility goals of taking your data from your on-prem to public cloud and start consuming public cloud resources. And last and not the least, the Google Search-like feature built into the platform. So it's Google-like enterprise search built into the platform. Every piece of data that's consumed by the platform is indexed, fully indexed with metadata intelligence for Google-like search. So the data platform could be deployed, dispersed around the globe, and as well as public cloud in multiple regions, multiple locations. But the index is coherent across all the sites. So you're able to quickly search by using text keys and filters and being able to pull data sets out from the environment without having to add anything or do something extra. And last but not the least to mention, so all these features I talked about and the 20 other features are built into the platform that keep added on all the time. All of these are part of the platform. So there's no license model. So all these features that got added on, these 3 features I was talked about in the latest release, if you already have the platform, this is already available for you, free to use. There's no additional licenses to buy. There's no extra license or product queue to use CloudSpin, for example. As these features get released, they are available on the platform. You add it through an update into your system and you're up and running. So further value being driven out of the consolidated platform that has been designed by Cohesity team. So as promised, I kept it minimal slides. So those were all my slides. If there are any questions from the team, I'll be happy to take your questions and answer any questions.
I have a question, Patrick.
Yeah.
So I think 3 years ago when Cohesity first came on the market, they were considered more like a tier 2, tier 3 data storage platform. And everything you talked about basically was targeted toward like tier 1 storage. And you even mentioned that you could offload data to another tier 2, tier 3 target now. So is Cohesity only focused in that area, or do they still have other products, but you're focused on a tier 1 product for this presentation?
Yeah, so one of the keys, so if you look at the Cohesity platform itself, the use case is more, okay, this is a better fit for high bandwidth, large scale file environment. So where it really fits is that space where I need access to petabyte scale of data. If you're thinking about, for example, like an NFS mount point for Oracle database, it's probably not a good use case for that. But if you're thinking about half a petabyte of unstructured data and I want to run analytics across it, then that would be a perfect fit for it. One of the places with files where we saw drastic improvements where it's kind of muddying the line between tier 1 and tier 2 is when SmartFiles came out. There were drastic improvements in the file system performance with SmartFiles. We have clients that are backing up petabyte scale NetApp environments that saw a speed up of almost 5 or 6x. They had backup jobs that were taking 6 hours. They dropped to like 4 and 5 hours. And then the other example I've seen is running analytics on the platform. So Splunk, for example, instead of taking data from your backup jobs, for example, and sending it to a Splunk cold archive, a Splunk hot archive, and running Splunk against it, now your data is sitting in the same place, and you're running Splunk on the data platform itself. So it just takes away the whole workflow of copying the data from one place to another, dragging it across your network just so you can run Splunk on it. So yeah, that whole use case, to your point, you're very correct. When Cohesity first came to the market, it was very much targeted to that tier 2, tier 3 space. But now we're seeing it's more of a discussion of what's your workload, what you're trying to accomplish, and what's the right platform to address it. And then coming very in the very near short term, you'll see some very interesting and exciting announcement on the platform and the model support itself, as far as what type of platform and media it supports. Like you'll see it's able to push that flash speed and performance even farther.
Okay, and I just have one more quick question. We're trying to deploy some sort of on-prem log collection and analytics platform for analyzing like build server job logs. So thinking about some sort of like an elk stack or something like that. Is the Splunk to bring your own license if you deploy that on here?
Yeah, so you would still get license Splunk as you license today. Only difference is if you are sizing storage, for example, for a Splunk environment, you would go and create the Splunk hot tiers and cold tiers. All of that goes away. All we do is we create a view box in the Cohesity platform, Think of it as a, NFS mount point, and all my data can just feed into there, and Splunk is running across that. All the metadata sits on Flash, so it's already accelerated. So if you want to think about Splunk hot buckets and cold buckets, all of that work is already being done natively by the SpanFS file system. So all of the extra management goes out the window, and you just run your applications. And then if you have multiple log collection points, so there's one of the marketplace applications that are available for free. It was developed by Cohesity, is a syslog example. You can have a syslog target, use the Cohesity platform as a syslog target, and ingest in data. Or you can just have simply like an NFS mount point. If you have multiple web servers generating a log or app servers generating a log, just give it an NFS mount point and it will write data natively to the Cohesity platform.
Thank you.
Great question. And I will be happy to, if you have any follow-up, happy to jump on a call with you and kind of show you around.
Okay, yeah, well, maybe we'll schedule separately a demo.
Yep, absolutely.